landed in France. We landed at La Havre, France, and we got off the boat on March the 3rd. We got there on March the 2nd about sundown, and we got off the boat the next morning at 7 o'clock. We went to a camping area in France, and we were there for several weeks. And we moved from there then to Orville, France. And we moved from Orville then to Cologne, Germany. And then we crossed the, I think it was the Rhine River that runs through Cologne. And we went then, of course we were scared to death, but we went then on in, now the Ruhr Pocket was a big farming area, and they farmed big vegetable farms and that type of thing. And we pulled in, and we thought it was just a hill and with trees, and we was pulling in there to have cover for vehicles and for us. Well, whenever we got there was two Germans pouring powder out of the, we didn't know we was pulling in on a powder dump, but that's what we pulled in on, was a powder dump. And they were pouring powder, the two of them, they were pouring powder out across the field or the woods, and we captured them, and they didn't ignite the powder. We got it before they ignited the powder. If they had ignited the powder, it would have blown everything up. So they had their powder. We went down into under the ground, or cellar, where they had their powder, and they had their powder divided up into about 8 or 10 squares. And that whole thing was where they recharged their shells. It was in that dump. And well, in the meantime, they were supposed to have this little town that was out from it. Now, it was supposed to have been secured, but whenever we got there. But they hadn't, they thought they would surrender, but they didn't surrender. And so they had to call the bombers in, and the bombers, it was like a movie, really. They brought the bombers in, and the bombers blowed their houses and all the pieces. And then we had artillery, and if you could imagine artillery flying into that little town every 10 seconds. It was every 10 seconds that there was a shell that was being fired into that little town. Well, the next morning, whenever we got up, then there was no problem. We went through town, but it was all tore up. I mean, it was just like rubbish. But they had if there was anything left, well, it had a white flag on it. And we went on through that town then, going over into the I was with the quartermaster, and we was hauling our rations to the troops in our division. We were in the 86th Division, and we had 3 battalions of troops that we supplied, and then the anti-aircraft, and of course the heavy artillery was all our support in the 86th Division. And we went on through to and there was just thousands and thousands and thousands of Germans that surrendered. And I'd say there was 8 or 10 abreast, and they just, they was out of food. They didn't have no food to eat. And the only thing they had was some, a few of them had a chunk of bread, and they had some margarine, only it didn't have no color in it. It was used it for butter.